You know when that deep dive request landed in my inbox? The one about Beyoncé's Texas Hold'em? I gotta admit, I was like, hold up, are we really doing this? But then you mentioned something about hidden depths in her lyrics, and suddenly I'm like, okay, this could get interesting.
It's easy to get lost in the beat, right?
Yeah,
Especially with Beyoncé. But yeah, her lyrics, that's where the real storytelling magic happens.
for real. So we're diving headfirst into Texas Hold'em, lyrics locked and loaded, ready to uncover those layers you were talking about.
And you know what's wild? Right off the bat, Beyoncé's playing with our expectations. I mean, she drops Texas Hold'em, so instantly we're thinking, okay, high stakes, maybe a little risky.
Exactly. We're picturing the poker table, the chips, the whole 9 yards.
And then, boom, she hits us with, this ain't Texas. And to really drive it home, ain't no Hold'em. Like, whoa, hold on a sec, what's going on here?
It's like she's telling us straight up, don't get it twisted. This is about something way deeper.
Exactly. It's brilliant, right? She's signaling that this isn't about cards and gambling. It's about relationships, about love, and how playing it straight beats playing it safe every time.
And is that where that whole park your Lexus, throw your keys up vibe comes in? Like, forget the status symbols, forget trying to impress.
100%. She's all about stripping it back to basics. Real connection. You can't buy that with a fancy car. It's about being genuine, being vulnerable. That's what she's saying.
Okay, there's this one line that really jumped out at me. Tornado in my city, rugged whiskey 'cause we survivin'. Man, the imagery there, right? What's your take on that whole contrast between chaos and resilience?
That's Beyoncé for you. She's never shying away from the messy stuff, the ups and downs, the storms we weather together. And notice how it's whiskey, not champagne. Not about celebrating. It's about surviving.
Right. Like, we're getting through this thing called life together. And then there's that line, puffin' red cup kisses, sweet redemption. Feels kind of, I don't know, juxtaposed. Red cups, like party vibes, maybe even a little reckless. But then sweet redemption. That feels deeper, more meaningful.
It's like she's capturing those contradictions in relationships, right? You've got the carefree fun, maybe some wild nights, but ultimately it's about something more. It's about finding that redemption, that solace, that strength in each other. That's what really matters.
Which, I don't know if you agree, but it kind of reminds me of those big themes she always seems to touch on. Resilience, female empowerment. Even in a song about love and games, it's like she's weaving in these bigger narratives.
Totally. And that idea of finding joy and strength in the middle of chaos, we're going to see that pop up again and again as we dig deeper.
Okay, so speaking of unexpected places to find joy, can we talk about this whole dive bar setting that keeps coming up?
Yeah.
Is it literal, metaphorical, or a little bit of both?
You know, you said unexpected, and that's spot on, because dive bar, it's not just a location here. It's like this whole other layer, you know?
Okay, I'm with you. So how does it tie in with everything else?
Well, think about it. On the one hand, you've got those Lexuses, those keys, all about showing off, right? But the dive bar, it's the opposite.
It's about keeping it real.
No.
Like, what you see is what you get. No pretense.
Exactly. Dive bars are all about authenticity, feeling comfortable in your own skin. And isn't that what we're all looking for in a relationship too? That realness.
Totally. So we've got this dive bar, this haven for honesty, and then bam, we're on the dance floor and things get a little, I don't know, complicated. Ooh, you run to the left. Just with me in the middle, boy. I can't read your mind. What's going on here? Is she feeling insecure? Is he playing games?
Remember how we were talking about Beyoncé's imagery? The dance floor. That's not just a dance floor. It's the relationship. The attraction's there, yeah, but then there's that push and pull, those moments when you're not quite in sync.
And that running to the left,
Yeah.
it's like he's pulling away, right? Creating distance.
Exactly. But then she comes right back with, just with me in the middle, boy, I can't read your mind. And that's where you see that strength again. She's not begging him to stay. She's basically saying, look, I need you to be straight with me to communicate. No more games.
Like, I'm not chasing after you. I'm good right here.
Love that. And that whole communication thing, it ties right back to that Texas Hold'em idea. Be upfront, show your hand.
Right. No bluffing allowed in this game. Which actually, speaking of turning things up a notch, the song takes this really interesting turn, doesn't it? Listen to this. There's a heat wave. There's a heat wave coming at us. Coming at us. Too hot to think straight. Too hot to think straight. Too cold to panic. Cold to panic. Wow. Talk about turning up the heat, right? Emotionally speaking, it's like we're in a whole different space now.
Right. It goes from these clever wordplays to something much more visceral. Suddenly we're right there with her, feeling that heat.
Yeah, like that feeling when you're so drawn to someone, so infatuated, that you literally can't even think straight.
Exactly. But here's the thing. She follows it up with, Too cold to panic,
Hmm.
right? So even though it's intense, overwhelming even, there's also the sense of control. Like she's making a choice. She's not running from the heat. She's leaning into it.
And that takes us right back to that line she keeps repeating, right? Come take it to the floor now.
Uh-huh.
It's like this mantra, this call to action. What's your take on it now, considering, the heat wave, everything else we've been talking about?
I think it's both an invitation and a challenge. On the one hand, she's saying, come on, let's do this. Let's see where this goes. But it's also like she's challenging him to be all in, no hesitation.
To stop playing it safe, to stop holding back.
Yes. And isn't that what Texas Hold'em is all about? You're either in or you're out. It's time to make your move.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Like how much she packs into just a few lines. Texas Hold'em, dive bars, heat waves. Who knew those could say so much about, like, the ups and downs of love?
And those little details, red cup kisses, rugged whiskey. It's that mix of like the raw and the real with, the strength and the confidence. That's what makes her so good.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, just thinking back to that deep dive request you sent, you mentioned being curious about those layers in her lyrics, the stuff you don't catch on the first listen.
All right.
Think we managed to, peel back some of those layers today.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the way she takes these big ideas, love, risk, being your true self, and then weaves them together with her own story, that's what gets me every time.
And somehow, even if we haven't all, actually played poker in a dive bar during a heat wave, we can still connect with it. It's universal.
Totally. It's like she gives us these pieces, right? These images, these feelings. But it's up to us to put them together to find our own meaning in it.
I love that. It's like we're all playing our own little game of interpretation, trying to figure out what it all means.
And the best part, there's no wrong answer. What speaks to you might be totally different for someone else, and that's fine. It's all about, really listening to the music, thinking about the words, and just seeing what comes up for you.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is next time Texas Hold'em comes on,
Yeah,
we shouldn't just be singing along. You
exactly.
got to be listening to those lyrics, picking up on those little details, figuring out what story Beyoncé is telling us and how it connects to our own lives.
Right, exactly.
Love it. Well, on that note, I guess it's time for us to fold them for today. Keep those deep dive requests coming, folks. And remember, there's always something new to discover, especially when you're willing to, take the deep dive. Until next time.